Hey y'all, it's Elise. Welcome back to the channel. And today I want to talk about what I learned from a Millionaire Waitress about financial success. This is all an inspiration from a YouTube video that I watched. And fun fact about me is I love everything YouTube. That's what eventually inspired me to start my own YouTube channel. But on a regular day, I was watching a YouTube video about a waitress who was an unsuspected millionaire in her town. And she is actually from Iowa. She's been in Iowa her whole life. And after watching the video, there were a few things that I saw that represented to me a recipe about how to become financially successful. And a lot of those things are present in what we see in the financial successes that we see in everyday news, like Jeff Bezos, Mark Cubans of the world, etc. Just people that we know who are financially successful and they get a lot of time in the media. So a few more things about Miss Bonnie, other than her being an Iowan for most of her life, is that she went to school, high school, and then she was a college graduate. And then afterwards, she worked for 30 plus years of her life in the small area that she lived in. The first thing that I want to say that she taught me was that she was resolute. And I say she was resolute because the video talks about how oftentimes she'd worked 2 or more jobs. They don't explain why she needed to work 2 or more jobs, so you can speculate as to why. Maybe she enjoyed it, or maybe there were times in her life where she needed more money to deal with short-term financial goals. But regardless, like, she did what she had to do. And oftentimes when you hear about Mark Cuban or Jeff Bezos, they did what they have to do. Mark Cuban lived in his apartment with like 5 other roommates for a long time in his 20s when he didn't have to do that. If he wanted to be a bachelor by himself, he could have had his own bachelor pad, but he needed to do what he needed to do because he had a vision of where he wanted to go. Same thing for Jeff Bezos. It's a little bit different though because he had the ability to count on his father's friends and colleagues to ask for thousands of dollars of investment into his company, but he told them straight up, there's a high chance y'all are going to lose this money. I'm going to ask for it anyway because I'm resolute in starting something. And he started selling books, I believe, in Amazon. It wasn't what the monstrosity that it is now, but that's why he named it Amazon, because he wanted it to be one of the biggest things in the world. So I feel like Ms. Bonnie taught me that people who have financial success are resolute on being financially successful. They're going to find a way. The second thing that I learned about her and which teaches me about financial success is that she lived modestly. In the video, which I will put a link below so you can watch it for yourself, it's only like 3 minutes. She stayed in a modest home. She was known, that was her, I don't know if it was her childhood home, but that was her adulthood home, and she stayed there. And I'm sure when she got to her 40s and her 50s and her 60s, she could have upgraded, but she decided not to. She stayed in that home until she was no longer here. And who is another rich person that we know that stays in his home and he's still here, but he has no plans of moving? Warren Buffett, which in our lifetime is known to be one of the best investors that we know, right? That's part of being financially successful to me because yes, you have the money, but just because you have the money, that doesn't mean you're gonna spend it all willy-nilly how you want to. There is a part of you that is gonna be reserved in how you spend your money, if you spend it at all. And if you do spend your money, not to say that you won't take risks, because without risk, there's no reward, but there's a humility in you to know that this is a powerful tool that I need to use wisely. So yeah, I thought that was awesome that Miss Bonnie, no matter what, she stayed in her home and she lived modestly. The third thing that Miss Bonnie taught me about financial success is that your spending should align with your values, whatever they may be. If you have good values, they're gonna align with it. If you have bad values, they're gonna align with it, because money exposes who you are. If you're good, it's gonna expose the goodness in you. If you're bad, it's gonna expose the terribleness in you. But in this particular YouTube video, part of the point of it was to say that once she was gone, she gave all of her money, because she didn't have children and she wasn't married. She gave all of her money to things that she cared about. She gave money to battered women. She gave money to children. She gave money to the libraries and her alma mater college, and she gave money to women's health care. So that alone tells you what type of person she was. I do think it's telling that she did that, and I feel like people who are aspiring to be financially successful, they value putting their money in places that's going to help them and help others. And then the last thing that I thought was very poignant and wise of her, and what she taught me, is that she had, number one, an estate plan, and she had an attorney. One thing about me is I aspire to have that type of money where it's like, oh no, you're gonna have to talk to my lawyer because I have a lawyer on retainer. I do not have that right now, but that is something that once I have will make me feel like I have made it technically, because there's like making it to where you can pay your bills comfortably, but there's making it to enjoying certain luxuries. And as she got older, she was able to have enough money to invest in an estate plan. An estate plan is not cheap. I think it's at least $5,000, and it can probably go up from there. But not only does it show that her decisions financially allowed her that luxury, but it also shows that that is a valuable thing that people who are financially successful need to do, because number one, it protects the money that you work so hard for. And as I'm trying to be financially successful, that is a goal that I do have. No one wants to talk about estate planning because it's not necessarily the most happiest topic, but seeing that she had it just iterated to me in my mind, something that I already knew, and I'm like, absolutely, I need to work towards having that. So yeah, I went through all that to say is that Miss Bonnie shows two things. The first thing is that she shows that it is possible, even if you are not a high earner like myself. Like, I am not a high earner at the moment, but she shows that it is possible. In the video, they noted that, I don't know, one of her earliest jobs, she was a cashier, and then after that, she was something else. I think it was a secretary or something where she didn't make a lot of money, but she still found a way. So there is no excuse really for us to not find a way. And the second thing is what I just said. There is no excuse. I will say that, you know, she was in a time when she was an adult, it was probably the 60s or 70s. So things weren't as expensive, but there's an argument to say that things were more expensive because interest rates were higher back then. However, like buying a home, buying a car insurance were not significantly expensive as they are now, and they don't chew away at your monthly income. But even in 2024, about to be 2025, we have to find a way to get it done. There's no excuse. Like I always say, find you a side hustle, a second side hustle after that first side hustle, because there is no excuse. And the only person that is going to help you tomorrow is you today. So I wanted to just talk about this video and thank Ms. Bonnie for leading by example and reminding me as I'm trying to aspire that it is possible and you can be a regular, schmegular, modest, quiet person, but be building up that bank. And I just wanted to do a quick little YouTube video. It wasn't gonna be that long because that video itself was 3 minutes, but I wanted just to come and thank her and share it with you guys so that you can go and watch it and be inspired by her as well, because you don't always have to have a lot. Miss Bonnie really dug into that Arthur Ashe saying, and Arthur Ashe was a tennis player in the 80s. And it's a famous saying that he has, and forgive me if I butcher it, but he says, start with what you have and do what you can with what you have. Because you can't do more than what you have. But whatever you have, you can be assured and confident that you can start with that. And then once you can do better, you'll do better. But for right now, you're gonna do what you have to do.